Well. So there is a June Nintendo Direct being on the 21st, and we're, of course, here to give our predictions for the thing. So, yeah, a lot of people weren't expecting this, but here we are, and I'm excited because we know almost nothing about Nintendo's end of the year, or really any part of the year lineup, beyond Pikmin 4 and Everybody Horse, or whatever the heck the game's called.
Everybody Horse. So, that's a way better name.
It really should be the name, right? So before we dive into our specific predictions, I just want to get a quick feel of the room. How are we feeling about this? Are we excited? Just quick thoughts. Go.
Scared.
Scared?
Y'all know I have one thing on my mind, and I'm just going to be very sad if it's not there. But
that one thing is the fourth thing in the series, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously Pikmin 4 is coming out next month. It has to be here. No. I'm feeling very optimistic and hopeful because of the fact that we really don't know what's coming beyond these titles. And that's like a whole big portion of the year that's still unknown and probably still has big titles. I doubt Zelda's going to be the only big title this year. I mean, we do have Pikmin, so who knows?
But it's not a heavy hitter, Tris. That's what the journalists have told me.
Nothing is a heavy hitter anymore. The heavy hitters are done, apparently. So that'll be the fun thing. Like what new announcements are there? Are any of them heavy hitters to whatever degree that definition could possibly be applied? I don't know. I'm excited though, but I think Nintendo is going to have some surprises here, given the fact that again we know almost nothing, and I don't think the Switch is dead yet. Some people are already writing it off as such. It's like, no, I don't think we're not that close to.
We just got Zelda. We just got Zelda. It's not dead.
Jake, real quick, 1 sentence summary. How are you feeling about this?
Not good. I don't know. I think when you have an event like a direct this close to like all the summer games nonsense, to me what that screams in my ear is like we have contractual obligations to put out some trailers with some third-party partners, with some these other people. We've got this set of to me it just feels a little too on schedule to be truly exciting, and I kind of think Nintendo is going to have a lighter rest of the year. So my expectations are not high for this. Yeah,
I knew you were going to say
that. That's basically what the partner showcase from last year fulfilled. That was very clearly we have these contractual obligations with our third-party partners kind of presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more optimistic because this is around the typical E3 time, and I think Nintendo. I think also just combined with the fact that we literally know nothing else of Nintendo's lineup beyond 2 games, one of which debatably may not even count as a game. So we're gonna, being Pikmin 4, obviously. No, I'm kidding.
Oh God.
No, I'm excited for Pikmin 4. I won't play Pikmin 4. I'm hyped for it. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into our predictions then. And I'm actually really curious to see what Jake's predicting here. If he's got nothing too excited in mind, I'm guessing. So let's start with you, Jake.
Yeah, cool. Listen. My predictions are now going to run counter to what I just said.
Oh, here we go. All right. Starting strong, Jake.
You know what I mean? We're having fun here. So the first thing I think is that new Switch hardware will be shown.
Really?
And
wow.
Yeah. So everybody remembers back in January, I predicted the Nintendo Switch 4K model, whatever the heck. Yeah. And I think that something like that has a possibility here. My reasoning is thus. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch Special Edition, that is out. We have pushed that hardware. We have sold through that hardware. The way that Nintendo's been operating for the last couple of years is that they announce one of these, they put it out, they let it sell for a little while, and then they hit the next one. Like we saw the Tears of the Kingdom Switch not get announced because they were pushing the Mario Special Edition one that they sold for a little while. And then before that, there was like a Pokemon one and then a Splatoon one. You can keep going back. And now, I don't think Pikmin's getting a Special Edition. I don't think there are really any other games. I don't think there's going to be another game that calls for a Special Edition. So I think we're going to see something different here. I do think it will be something along the lines of a Pro model. And I know how stupid that sounds. And I don't think it's going to be positioned as such, but I do think the main thing is going to be, hey, things are going to look a little bit better on this Switch. Tears of the Kingdom looking a little bit better, count on it. A certain Metroid game looking a little better, I think so. So that's my prediction.
So and I assume you mean you would expect it to launch this by the holidays then this year? Or
correct. Maybe like September, October.
All right. And you're not talking like a full-on successor. This is just a pro level version of what we have now.
think DSi.
Wow. That's
dehyped.
No, exactly. This is going to be something that I think people are going to have mixed responses on. But at the same time, the second you go, so you're telling me Zelda's going to look a little better? That's going to get a lot of people. And I think that's really all it needs to do.
So you're saying this will be like going from the 3DS to the new 3DS?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not seeing any hardware in this direct, guaranteed. You'll get, and we're not going to see a pro model of the Switch. It's going to be a next-gen system at some point, and you'll get that announcement. I don't know when you'll get that announcement. Like, the earliest I'm betting is fall. I see a thing happening like how the Switch was revealed. There's going to be Mario behind a curtain. And then tune in at 6 a.m. for a trailer for the next-gen system. I think that's going to happen. They're not going to say it in a direct, and if they do, they'll tell us ahead of time, this is the direct. This is the big, huge direct, if they even do it in a direct. That's what I think. But I also know Jake just likes to be extra with his predictions, so I'm just like...
No, I really mean this. I've been saying this all year, this is going to happen. There were some hard rumors earlier in which Andre and I were on a discussion, and I got Andre to believe that there was going to be new hardware before the end of the year. So this is
pro
not,
model, but just a slight upgrade?
Listen, I don't think they'll call it pro, but I do think it will be a slight upgrade. I think it makes sense for them to want to have a new piece of hardware to push this holiday season. And I think maybe an explainer for why we know so little about the second half of this year is because they need to show this thing first. Yeah,
that would make a lot of sense.
It would make sense.
The only thing I could possibly dampen that is, didn't Nintendo almost effectively say there won't be any new hardware for the next fiscal year or up until...
They're a bunch of liars. They don't even know what Nintendo says.
Here I made a video about this. They carefully worded it. They said these numbers do not account for a potential. So they didn't confirm or deconfirm anything. They were very tricky about that statement.
But it is the company that literally denied the existence of I think DS
Lite
successor, DS Lite, the day before it was announced. So obviously I expect Pikmin 4 to be here.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, they're probably going to show off how the actual gameplay works more so now than we have seen up to this point. They had the little teaser trailer, a week ago or so with little story tidbits. So it'll be fun to see them flesh out that game more, like the actual gameplay, how the night factors into it, and all that. I don't know how much more we may want to speculate about Pikmin 4, but
it'll have a little gameplay showcase. I don't know how much of this direct it'll take up. Like if it'll get its own segment, probably, because it's the next it's the next heavy hitter, y'all. Let's just call it that.
And Miyamoto will want to come out on screen to talk about it.
Pikmin Bloom, agree.
I think the big push this time around is going to be the multiplayer. Just makes sense to me. You reveal that your protagonist is player created so that, you can have them amidst all these other player created characters in an online multiplayer kind of mode. I love that character creator trailer, by the way. That makes me so excited for this game. Can't wait to make my little guy.
All right, good. Can we make Waluigi, though? Oh no, my camera is just going crazy.
He said the cursed word, Waluigi.
That was perfect timing.
Yeah, so Pikmin 4, we still don't know a ton about how the gameplay is really going to work. That night mode was teased. I think that might be a multiplayer thing going on there, but I'm excited to see what it has to offer. Every time I go back to that Pikmin 4 original trailer, I get a little more interested and impressed with it. I think it looks like a really good game, so I'm excited to see more.
Nice.
Yeah,
Pikmin series is generally pretty solid, so it'll be fun to see how 4 is shaping up. And I really want to see more about that night mode. Like I speculated a lot about that in our previous discussions, and I want to see if I was anywhere close with it potentially being a tower defense type thing in night where you need to fend off the enemies. Right. That could be fun. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
We'll see. Are we going to see Everybody Horse here?
Oh yeah,
Everybody 1-2 Switch.
But not much of it. Yeah. Nintendo's trying to bury this game because it sucks from what the reports have said, and I'm inclined to believe it just the way they announced it. There was only one, not even a screenshot of the game. There was just 2 promotional images, the title, and these 2 people doing some pogo stick thing, and they're not even a trailer. So that just goes to show Nintendo has no faith in this game.
I feel like a trailer for it would be akin to the original 1-2 Switch reveal trailer, where it's mostly showing people doing the minigames just to give you an idea of what the minigames are, and that's about it. And then they're gonna move on, and it'll be somewhere randomly in the middle of the show.
We're not
so it gets drowned out.
we're not gonna see it. We're not gonna see it. I have never seen a more joyless announcement from Nintendo in my life.
Yeah, they're not happy with this.
Reading the copy on the Nintendo eShop right now that's there for this game is like a mind-boggling experience, because the only way you know it's a video game is because of the repeated use of the word game. Like, there is nothing you can glean from this. At one point, it's like everything from aliens to balloons, like two natural ends of a spectrum. You know what I mean? I think there's something. Yeah, I think that there's something like really weird going on with this game, and I almost feel like that Nintendo themselves has moved on from it in a way that, like, okay, we're just gonna put it out because we have it. I think that reduced price from Nintendo is a bad sign.
Yes.
If they're even putting it out for, I think it's $30. So I kind of don't think we're gonna see it at all.
Half the price of the original. So
I was gonna say that's half the price.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if it's not here either. So.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little intrigued just to find out what that game, more about how that game actually works and if it has improved since the reports. So we'll see if it's here or not. All right, let's get back to more of our predictions. Tris, what do you got for us?
Well, I need to hit one of the elephants in the room of we're definitely going to see Wave 5 of Mario Kart 8's Booster Course Pass.
100%.
Like, absolutely. It's 100% going to be here. The main thing I'm curious on is when it's going to release, because typically when they show these off in directs going off the last few, it's a tease in the direct specifically. It's not like the full release date, here's all the content. It's a tease that shows some of it and then gives a window for when it's going to release. Like, it will say like summer 2023. And then the week before it actually comes out is when we get the full trailer.
Right.
But I kind of feel like based on the time here, compared to what it was with Wave 4, I think we can get more than just a tease and get actually like most of the content here. I think we'll see at least a character and at least 3 courses.
Who's the character?
That's where I'm at.
Who's the character?
I'm going to say PD Piranha. Because I feel pretty confident that the course themes to PD Piranha is going to be the next, like, new course added.
Pretty solid. I was about to say, wasn't he already in it? But that's Smash Bros. Or like, no, that was just a Piranha plant. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Joey, don't. Petey is a good
Final
name.
Smash though. Wasn't he?
Yeah, he's part of the Final Smash.
I'm kind of leaning towards Diddy because I just feel like PD makes too much sense, Tris, and for that reason, he won't be.
What if it's
included.
both? There are 5 characters
that'd
remaining.
Be cool. That'd be cool.
Both.
I also think that I'm going to throw a dart and tell you that the date that this is going to release is going to be July 18th, mere days before Pikmin 4 comes out, because of course. Like, you know, they just
why not?
Yeah,
just
exactly. They simply do not have it in them to space things out. So it will be the same week. It'll be that Tuesday, July 18th.
I mean, they basically did that. I mean, they basically did that before with Bayonetta Origins. Like, I think Bayonetta Origins came out a week after, and then I think Kirby and the Forgotten Land came out like right around the same time as Wave 1. So timing it right around Pikmin would not be surprising at all from Nintendo.
Cool.
I think we'll get 2 characters here, so we have 2 between each wave. And I think I kind of agree with Jake. I think it could be you said Diddy, right?
Yeah.
Jake? Yeah. Diddy and Dixie. Dixie came back in the movie. She's in Mario Kart Tour. Now's a great time to add her to Mario Kart to help like start priming us for the upcoming DK games that we're sure are in the works. So that's not a segue to a prediction I have.
Okay.
Actually, no, I lied. No, it can be because it is on my list.
There we go.
I will go into it then. I predict that we will actually get a Donkey Kong game reveal here. Like, there's been rumblings of this for a while. Nintendo's clearly been gearing up for something big with how much attention DK's been getting, including at the theme park, in the movie, and now we even know, looking at the Nintendo Summer event they just recently announced happening, but there's even a tropical... that actually might be a point against this. There's a tropical freeze booth there. So maybe they won't announce a DK here, and that could have just been a placeholder too. Who knows?
It did look like a 3D mock-up of what the layout would be, so that could very easily change. I would say.
It can very easily change. They're not going to announce a new game if they do intend on having it there eventually. So, or rather, announce a new game in that concept art. So I think there's a good chance we actually see what this is. That could be basically the holiday tentpole, much like Tropical Freeze was basically, or intended to be 10 years ago before it got delayed. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So long.
I agree.
Bro.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is likely, and I think that I can see in my mind's eye them being like, and with the power of the Nintendo Switch 4K, and they zoom in on Donkey Kong. And they show you like his individual hairs, and like you can see like his like nostrils are flaring.
You know, breathing out, blowing out things.
Yeah. And afterwards, everybody's gonna be like, "This is so stupid. Why do I care about these minute details on?" But that's the genius of the new Nintendo Switch.
I just want to see his teeth retracting in 4K.
Oh no!
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely no. That's a hard no.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction, and I think it to me it also speaks to like the Nintendo randomness thing of a lot of people going, surely there's a Mario game, and it's like, nah, dude, Donkey Kong. Let's go.
I think I think Mario is going to be the big launch title for the next Switch. Although, Jake, if they do have that Switch here, maybe it would be. But you're thinking it's going to be a Pro. So in any case, yeah, I'm still not quite expecting Mario yet, especially because people keep speaking on Twitter as if there's been this massive gap between Marios, and Bowser's Fury was still just a little over 2 years ago, which is effectively, not a full-scale Mario, but that was a new Mario of sorts.
Yep.
So I still think it may be a little too soon. Not that there couldn't be one. I think DK is probably first though, and I kind of hope it's DK. I want to see I want to see a new DK game. He earned it. It's time.
It's been a long time, so it
well,
really
I think
would be good.
Tris, I think you're going to agree with me though that there will be a new Mario here.
Oh, here we go.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
I do agree. I do.
Yeah, it's time.
100% agree. The rumors about that being in development started back in like what, January? Like at least. But also the next Summer Olympics are next summer, and they always come out like before then. So
they have skipped a few years now, though, right? So
yeah. But there's also been like weird Olympic stuff going on because of like COVID. Remember, like the Olympics got like delayed a year, and there was all that nonsense.
Did they still have a 2021 though? Didn't they have a 2020?
Yeah, they did Tokyo 2020.
But no
They've been
winter
skipping
ones.
the winter. They've been skipping the Winter Olympics.
I didn't even know about this.
Will it look good or will it look?
It's gonna look like it always does. It will look competent and unexciting.
But on the Switch 4K, you can see the pores in Mario's nose. So
oh, that's good. You can see sweat wicking off of Wario, dude. He's like running down the track. It's
you
like,
can see
that would be sick.
You can see the body odor coming off of
Listen,
him, dude.
I feel like these Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, they always have a thing that they're trying to pitch you on. I remember there was the one that was like, look at the retro aesthetic. We're doing this now. Now we're doing these dream events. We're doing these weird things now. And I'm like in for these like little weird dumb things that they come up with. So I'm curious to see what the new one is. Yeah.
That snowboarding mode with Mario Kart items was sick, but it only had one level. It barely elaborated upon it. Like, I want them to really... I think what I would hope for the series is, like, go with fewer events and flesh those out. Make them, both with more realistic ones that they want, and then also the more dreamlike ones. And make those more, like, proper games in and of themselves. Rather than having, a dozen different sports or whatever it ends up being. But would we get an Olympics in an off year? Because there is no Olympics this year, right?
It's Paris 2024. And the way the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games typically release, they always release before, like the holiday season before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Wow, that's quite a bit in advance. So I hope you're wrong. Because if that is the case, then that means we're probably not going to get what my prediction is: a new Mario Baseball. Come on!
Are you kidding, Andre? What the heck?
No, but Jake, it makes perfect sense because the World Series is in October. Don't release it in June. Release it closer to the actual baseball season.
This is maximum cope. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. Listen, the Mario sports games are so weird at this point that if they did do something like this, I would just roll my eyes, give them $60, and move on with my life.
I mean, cool. You'll buy it anyway. You'll buy it, have fun with it, but you're just gonna move on anyway.
Andre, you really believe in this? You think this is happening?
I mean, it's a matter of time. I just hope now's that time. Like, we've been waiting. It's the only classic Mario sports game we have not yet had on Switch. Mm-hmm. It's been a couple year gap at this point. So like, I imagine it's in development. I don't know what else would be. And I hope it is announced here, but I want to play a new Mario Baseball. I need it. I'm just afraid of how it'll turn out because every other Switch sports game has been disappointing to some level compared to the previous ones, or not maybe not the immediate predecessors, but the best versions of the games. So I hope it's here. I hope it's really good because I need a new Mario Baseball in my life, Jake.
I want to believe, but that last direct was a heartbreaker. Heartbreaker that it wasn't here. Yeah, so I don't know.
Valid.
I'm so desperate for it at this point. I'm like, yeah, give me that mid Mario baseball game. Just like, I don't care. Just give it. I want to see him in baseball outfits. That'll give me joy. Just give it to me. Yeah.
God.
All right, let's move on to other predictions. Joey, what do you have for us?
Finally, I get to go. Jeez. It's just been like Andre, Jake, back and forth.
So sorry.
We all know what yours is already, and you only have one, so
I only have one.
it's a courtesy. We're even letting you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very sad if it's. That's the thing. I am scared. I am shaking as I am talking about this because 6 years since that reveal of Metroid Prime 4, and now it's been 4.5 years since it was rebooted with Retro Studios at the helm. We gotta see something. I want to see. If it's not here, I'm gonna be very sad, and I will dub this direct bad because I'm done. I am done waiting, and I'm just ready to see more of this game. Tears of the Kingdom's done. Pikmin 4 is about to be out of the way. It's time. This is like the one game that we don't know anything about coming from Nintendo at some point. And I think it'll go down like this. We'll see a trailer. We'll get a release, maybe a release window at the end of it. I'm betting like early 2024, maybe. I don't think it's coming out this year. I just want to see it this year. And it's just like, hey, while you wait, here's Metroid Prime 2 and 3. They're not as remastered as the first game, but that's okay, because we just told you Metroid Prime 4 is coming. That's kind of the way to like loosen the blow of Prime 2 and 3 is not looking as good as the first Metroid Prime Remastered, because if the rumors have been right about Metroid Prime Remastered already, so what reason is there to believe that Prime 2 and 3 will also not be as remastered? Because that's apparently the rumor, is that they're not going to look as good as Prime Remastered, but I think that's fine. You just got to catch these people up before Prime 4 comes out, and yeah, I want to see it here. Please God, let it be here.
Wait, is that enough, though? Is that enough, Joey? Does that please or displease you if they say, hey, here's 2 and 3, we're repeating our past success, shadow drop, and then somebody comes out and is very apologetic about Metroid Prime 4? Is that enough?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Like, show me Metroid Prime 4. Like,
okay, you gotta see it.
I gotta see it. Like, I'll be happy if your thing happens. I'll be happy, kind of. Okay. Because at least Prime 2 and 3 got shadow dropped. Yeah. But I will still be like, okay, but like, it's time to show me. Like, seriously.
Yeah. The way I'm looking at it is, it would be strange at this point if Metroid Prime 4 isn't here at all.
Yeah.
I think it'll have a presence. I do think 2 and 3 could happen. The reason why I think 4 would be so strange to not be here is because of how much the conversation is starting to move on to what's after the Switch. But this was announced the year the Switch came out. Yeah. Even though it restarted development, we've had like the teases over the years at this point of like new concept art, Retro Studios constantly hiring. There's nothing saying they can't do like a Tears of the Kingdom or sequel to Breath of the Wild style teaser that may not even reflect fully what's in the game, but something like a look at Samus standing somewhere, looking out at space, and then like in the I don't know, like in the stars, like a release window appears. It may not even reflect gameplay, but something for I feel like has to happen.
Just the fact that Prime Remastered came out this year means
that's
like
why
the discussion about Metroid is stronger than ever. It's time.
That's why I'm thinking, because I feel like that was the way they handled Prime Remastered is a bit strange if it's not building up to more.
Yeah, exactly, Tris. Thank you for being on my side, because I know these two are about to tell me otherwise.
Well, apparently I'm sleeping because this is a dream. It's funny to me that it's like, it'd be so weird if it wasn't here. I'm like, yeah, it was weird 3 years ago. Like, what makes it more weird? I will say, Joey, I think that's a good point about Metroid Prime Remastered having come out this year, that does to me signal that like they have some concept of a roadmap in their head of like when they're releasing these things, but I don't think you can really start talking about Metroid Prime 4 until you got to put the 2 and 3 in front of people again first, and you got to sit on that conversation, give it time to cook.
I think Metroid Prime Remastered's enough. Prime Remastered's out there. People now have an idea of what Metroid Prime is like. They now have a greater idea of what Prime 4 is going to look like. I'll say it again. It's time.
I mean, it's been time, though, I think, is Jake's point.
Now's the time more than ever, though, Andre.
That's always the case. Next year, too.
Has any other year had Metroid Prime Remastered come out? No. So I am definitively right about this.
But we had Metroid Dread the year before, where it was also true.
What does that have to do with Prime? Like,
great point. No, Andre, that's a great point. Oh my
it's
god.
actually
No,
not.
Listen, I get where you're coming from, Joey. I just think that Nintendo doesn't operate like this anymore. I think that we're coming from the Wii U era in which they were trying to push stuff in front of us to get the titillation meter to go up, to get some excitement to go on. But nowadays, Nintendo isn't going to be talking about these games until they're releasing in a couple to a few months at the most. And I understand that Metroid Prime 4 has like a different thing going on because it was already announced so early, but I think
how many trailers have there been of Tears of the Kingdom before it came out? So
are we really? Do you want to compare Zelda and Metroid? Is that the game we're playing?
Yep.
So I don't know. I just personally don't see it, but I do think a point in your favor is, of course, the basically confirmed at this point Switch 4K. And I think that the Switch 4K, we gotta have that Metroid Prime 4K synergy. So I think that is,
I love how you brought this back to your prediction. That just is beautiful.
That's right. I mean, I'm just saying. I just think if we can help each other, I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Yes.
I actually do think there's a very good chance Metroid Prime 4 is being positioned for the next Switch. And since I don't think we'll see the next Switch here, I also think we won't see Metroid Prime 4 here. I would be happy to be wrong.
You could show it before the Switch 4K is revealed. Like, that's happened in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can do any number of things. I'm not expecting it personally in this case. And I think that's something they would hold off until either A, closer to its release, likely being at the end of the year at the absolute soonest. I'm not expecting it still even until next year, given the fact we've just found out they're still hiring for this game. And that tells me that
they hire for projects until the very end of development. I don't think that says anything,
I think it does, because it takes time to fill those positions, like at least a month, if not longer. And that tells me I think that it's not coming out this year soon. And I don't think Nintendo will be showing it that's not the case. I'd be happy to be wrong. I'd love to see a trailer.
I'd be happy for you to be wrong, too.
All right, let's move on to another prediction. Jake, what else you got for us?
Man, we've gone through a lot of stuff. Really quick, I think there's going to be a smattering of like third-party things that just simply need to be shown for at least 5 seconds. I think you can count on seeing a little bit of... Maybe, but also like I don't know, like Sonic Superstars like will be in this.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It just will be. The Persona 3,
yeah, Persona 3 Reloaded will definitely be in this too.
Yeah, Persona 5 Tactica, it'll just be here. Yep. And I think that's nice. And I honestly, as we're talking about this, I think that we're kind of like filling out a pretty nice presentation. But a big thing that I'm relenting, and I've decided that it will in fact be here. I can't believe I'm saying this. They're gonna talk about F-Zero.
Oh
man, that will be a fun one.
Yeah,
wait, you're saying they're gonna talk about F-Zero but not Metroid?
yeah. So here's my reasoning.
Okay, go ahead.
The F-Zero, what is it? Nintendo 64 game? What's that one called?
F-Zero X.
X?
Or do you mean the GameCube GX?
No, the Nintendo 64. That'll be they'll do some nonsense about Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online, and they'll say F-Zero. I know there have been rumors of a remaster of the GameCube one. I still think those people have no idea what they're talking about. I will not relent on that because they also said the 1,000-Year Door is coming, and I don't think that's coming either.
I'm really hoping I have something on that when you're done with this.
Okay. And I think that the way F-Zero reappears is in like a kind of cheap online focused eShop game. I have like a vision for it. I don't know why, but I think that they're like that might be something that is being worked on, and I think that we could see it here. So yeah, I think that F-Zero will be uttered. And I don't think it's going to be something that will make F-Zero fans happy. Like, that eShop game I'm describing, it's going to look like the Little Big Planet version of F-Zero or something. You know what I mean? Some dumb thing.
Hear me out. Pac-Man 99 is shutting down later this year. And typically when they shut down a 99 game, they make a new one. There's something new to replace it. Like when Mario Bros. 35 shut down.
Trace, I'm on board. I'm on board.
Could it be some, like, big scale multiplayer F-Zero game? Maybe not 99, but, like... a large F-Zero game like that.
They'll call it F-Zero 99X. That's the name. All right, there it is. I'm on board. Yeah.
Okay.
We are getting close to its 35th anniversary in not too long, I think. So maybe it could be F-Zero 35
The
at some
35th.
point.
I would have believed you if you said the 35th anniversary of the last F-Zero game, because that's how long it's been.
Well, I also think that's that Switch 4K that I'm imagining. You can't really show off Mario Kart looking better, but can you show this other racing game looking kind of cool? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's so hard to imagine what they're... I mean, F-Zero, I think it will come back at some point, whether now or eventually later. I mean, especially with it, not necessarily it mattering, but it was in the Mario movie as an Easter egg. And it's not a necessarily super strong brand for Nintendo, but people are aware of it, and I think Nintendo will try it again at some point. And hey, if it's now, that'd be great. I just don't know what form it's going to be. Miyamoto himself has said they wouldn't bring it back until they have a new idea for it, which is basically a way of saying this game does not sell enough in its current form. We need to figure out something else to do with it, and to make it more appealing to the masses. So that is a little concerning, because people who are F-Zero fans don't want something else, really.
Yeah, right.
Maybe they'll show us something that surprises us. It is. It really is.
I feel like having F-Zero come back is already a big deal in and of itself. I mean, like not to bring this back to Metroid, but it's just like Metroid Dread, not exactly the newest of ideas. It still came out on Switch and became the best-selling Metroid game of all time. So it's just like having that hype of the Switch and like that install base could really just help F-Zero, even if they don't really change much about it.
But I'm imagining something more on the level of Federation Force. All right, that's kind of what I see in my mind's eye. Some game that makes all the F-Zero people go, you massacred my boy, you know?
Yeah, I'm shivering from this. I feel like with the rumblings of a possible GameCube remaster, I feel like that's not enough. Like, I think maybe that could be like the groundwork they're laying. But like, if they just drop another single-player F-Zero, largely single-player with local multiplayer, that's not enough at this point. They would have to go in and definitely augment it to be online, add some new modes or something. I think that just wouldn't do it at this point. They're going to drop it, it'll sell less than Metroid Prime Remastered, and then Nintendo just drop it again for another decade or whatever. I don't want that to happen. So they really need to... I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, just a simple remaster, just a remaster would not be enough, I think. It'd be very exciting. Even though I will personally play it, I'll be happy, but it's not what people really want, I think. So,
right.
That's fair.
All right.
On the subject of like the GameCube remasters, like F-Zero GX, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I'm sure there's others. I'm just not thinking of offhand. Those are just the ones very loudly being talked about a lot. I do think we will see a GameCube remaster here that will follow the same format as Metroid Prime Remastered. It will literally be shadow dropped, and then the physical version will release later. Because when you really look at it, that's a very strange decision to exclusively do from Metroid Prime.
Yep.
That feels like something they're going to bank on GameCube. That name sells. Let's keep doing it, but not give it all of our marketing attention. So you get two like middle pushes that are received pretty well. You get the immediate push, you can get it now. And then you get the marketing push of when the physical comes out. And I think we're going to get something GameCube that's literally going to release after this Direct, and then in 2 weeks or so, you'll be able to buy it physically.
What's the game, Chris?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it'll be one of those two, but those are the two that are so constantly talked about that I feel like it makes the most sense to be one of those two. But I would love for it to be some, like, oddball, like Luigi's Mansion or something.
Oh no! How dare you say that?
That was just remade on 3DS too. Well, I say just.
I don't even think.
I
think Triss was just naming an example.
Yeah.
But
that's just an example. That's just an example.
If you have to choose a game, Triss, what game is it going to be?
I want it to be Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Okay.
Same.
I want it to be that. If there's rumors about that, let it be that, please.
Please, God, seriously.
It would be. I think that actually would be smart, if only to, for one, remind people of like how great Paper Mario used to be, and it could be a great way of like setting up the stage for a true Paper Mario sequel, return to the classic style of gameplay, which maybe Nintendo would actually explore now that they got the trilogy out of the way, if you want to call it that, with Sticker Star, Color Splash, and Origami King.
Especially since... go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially since, like, timing-wise, like, sure, we have Everybody Went to Switch launching at the end of the month, and sure, we have Pikmin 4 launching, like, later in July, but when Metroid Prime Remastered came out, that was, like, what, a week before Kirby? And, like, a few weeks before Bayonetta? I don't think proximity to other titles matters. No. So I do think there's a chance it could drop, and if it is Paper Mario, I will be very, very happy about that, because it has also been like 3 years since the last Paper Mario game, and those are usually like 3 to 4 year cycles. So.
True. Yeah, I feel like Paper Mario could also get away with, like, Paper Mario Remastered could get away with, like, not even being shadow dropped. Like, that's a huge game. I feel like it could deserve its own, like, marketing campaign. But I still am down for that idea of just GameCube remasters being released like that, because Metroid Prime did really well in, like, just under 2 months. Like, just over 1 million copies. So, yeah, I definitely think they could do that with other GameCube games.
Especially
it would just be weird if they
didn't.
Yeah, especially single player.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I was gonna say I was kind of saving this for the end, but I got one big old long shot prediction. It's kind of related to this. All right,
Okay.
All right.
delete everything I said from the record. This is the only one that matters. All right, there will be a GameCube remaster.
What is it?
Super Smash Brothers.
Stop.
It's okay. Listen, here's what I'm thinking. Originally, my prediction was they will say the words Super Smash Brothers in this direct. I don't know how or why, but they will. And then the wheels started turning, and I think it's time for them to be strange. Put out Melee. Better graphics, online multiplayer. Smash Brothers has been done for a while. I think it's time to for that name to come back into the zeitgeist, but not a new game. Obviously too early for a new game. It's going to be a long time before then. It just feels right to me. Put it in like an October release Melee.
I've got 2 counterpoints, because you said specifically Smash Brothers by name could be mentioned.
Yes.
Smash Bros on N64 NSO available right away. Or from the final Super Smash Bros Ultimate Amiibo, Sora.
Oh, that's another way. Oh, I'd be happy about that. But my conspiracy theory, Tris, is that it has not come up N64 on NSO Smash because of this. That is my conspiracy theory. It's that we're like, okay, yeah, because we're doing a Melee remaster. It's coming around the bend.
There's not a chance in hell that coming back. Not a chance in hell, Jake. I'm sorry.
Joey, now I know how it feels. Oh my god.
Yeah. Doesn't feel good, does it?
0% chance. First off, it's Smash Ultimate. How do you can't go back in time from Ultimate. And I think if there were to be a Sakurai remaster, the most likely one at this point would be Kid Icarus. We've had those slight possible teasers for it, and that game makes sense, I think, because there's not a version of it currently on Switch. But yeah, I mean, people will love Melee. That is one that's never happened.
Doesn't Nintendo hate Melee? Also, kind of.
Listen, Nintendo hates a lot of things. If you ask Nintendo, they probably hate Thousand Year Door because of all the goofy characters. You know what I mean? So it's
Unique
Nintendo hates Waluigi. Like, whatever. It's like, you can't go by that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of things Nintendo hates, I'm going to use that as a segue to my next prediction, being the fact that Nintendo clearly hates DLC for the Mario Party series, which is why I'm predicting we're getting a new Mario Party here. I don't know if it's going to be a sequel to Superstars or something brand new like Mario Party 11, but we are getting a new Mario Party here, I think. It is time.
This is dark.
That's one of those predictions where I'm like, okay, it could happen. I don't care if it does or doesn't.
I want it.
I'm torn. It's been a couple years since Superstars was announced, and then it came out later in 2021. So it's been a couple years. The Mario Party cycle hasn't really been what it was in the last few years, because it used to be like every year there was something. And then more recently, it's like every 2 or 3 years, something like that. So we are kind of coming up on when it could be. But I almost feel like with how well Superstars and Super Mario Party have sold on the Switch, that I feel like they would actually hold it off to be a launch or near launch title for whatever's next. Like, I feel like that's why we never got DLC, because they went on to make the next game. But I think the reason why that would get prioritized is to make it an early or a launch or an early close to launch title on the next thing. So I don't know if we'd see it here, but I think after the next thing has been seen or has been revealed, that's when I think we could see it.
I think this is a good prediction. I don't know. You just said it, Tris. It's like they didn't make DLC because they went on to the next game. I feel like this last game, wasn't it all remastered minigames and stuff? Like they didn't make any new ones?
Yeah.
It was all remastered minigames, maps. It was all heavily updated, but
yeah, and I don't know why. I just don't see I kind of hear you on wanting to have it for the next system, but I also think they could just put this one out and do another one in less than 2 years. I don't know.
I mean, I would love it. I would. Yeah. I would be very excited for a new Mario Party. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if it's time yet.
I think the thing that's annoying about it, and I'd like to know from both of you what I feel like, because I feel like you both really love Mario Party, but I feel like the one that just came out is like peak Mario Party. It's basically like exactly what you want from the franchise. I'd be curious to see what the next thing is.
That's so true. Wasn't it the highest rated Mario Party game on Metacritic or something?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very, very well received. I think realistically what Mario Party's very often been good with is iterating on itself and building up new things. Look at the GameCube era, for example. You had new ideas introduced in Mario Party 4 with the way they handled items, and then that kind of transitioned into Mario Party 5 with the capsules and affecting spaces. And you saw that system developed further into Mario Party 6 and 7, where they really refined that system. You had character-specific items, you had new items that can affect different spaces, and then you had like maps with different gimmicks to them that really started to kind of shake up what the series was. I think that's what they would do going forward from this. They would make a new Mario Party going off of the systems of Superstars, aka classic Mario Party, and iterate off of that to make something new. Not Super Mario Party 2, where it's like the grid-based, all that stuff. I don't think it would be that. I think it would actually be a new classic style game. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I mean, they've shown they can return to the classic form. They show that they're capable of that, which seemed like they weren't for the longest time under ND Cube specifically. I think it makes a lot of sense, Tris. I don't agree with it being a Switch 2 launch title or a Switch 2 title. I mean, there will be eventually. Mario Party is not a system seller. They don't need that at launch. And I think they're actually shooting themselves in the foot if they're not catering to the biggest demographic possible for that game, which is currently right now on Switch. And you don't need that to be like outstanding graphics. It already looks good enough. And so I think it makes sense for it to be released here. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. But I just want more Mario Party in that style. I'm so sick of those 5 maps. 5 maps is not enough.
Yeah. And there's only 5 maps? Wow, I did not know that.
There's only 5 maps, yep.
Sad.
What's funny is, it's funny because it's a celebration of the 64 style of games, and yet it has the fewest amount of maps of any of them. So with 3 specifically only getting 1 representation. So I don't know. Yeah, I can't believe I can think of DLC. In any case, I want more of it, even if it's in a similar style with new maps. I mean, that might be even better, so...
Wait, it has less maps than each of the individual N64
individual games? Every single one had more maps. So they combined all 3 games and somehow end up with less maps than any of them. It made 0 sense, Jake.
I understand why you thought DLC was coming now. I get that.
No, it felt surefire. Like, even like the layout of the menus felt like there were open slots for DLC. I can only think that it was literally planned and they were told, no, go make the next one so we get it out sooner.
Why does Nintendo do this? They did this with Mario Maker 2. Here's other art styles. Super Mario 3D World. That was it. Yeah. That was it.
That bothered me so much.
I wonder if it's, I wonder if it's as a comp. Maybe looking at a revenue perspective, like maybe they realize they can make more money making a new game, rather than the fact that if you make an online game where content may only be allowed to a certain portion of the demographic that buys it or has Switch Online or whatever it is. I'm guessing just financially it makes more sense to make a new one. You know, if they are, I don't know for sure. I'm hoping for it here, and we'll see. So
I'm hoping too.
Cool. All right, more predictions. What else we got?
I have one.
Right.
There's no way this is happening, but I want it to happen. It's one of those things where it's time, but like it's been time since the Switch came out. So like, where in the hell is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess? Where are those?
Yes. Where are they?
So here's, I'm of 2 minds with this. Like, maybe you wouldn't want to talk about them in this direct and maybe not even release them this year because Tears of the Kingdom, people just might ignore them largely. But also, it's just like, people are hot off of Tears of the Kingdom. They're probably like, oh, I'd like to revisit some of the older Zelda titles. Where here you go. Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD. So that's why I'm just like, oh man, I would love to see this in a direct. It's a crime that they're not on the Switch because you'd think theoretically like they'd be easier to port since they already had HD remasters on Wii U.
Especially because they already support non-gamepad functions. You can play them without the gamepad in that game. There's like
Exactly.
nothing to figure out for Switch. I would love to see those, Joey. I especially want to revisit Wind Waker HD. But the reason I think it won't be here is that I have another Zelda-related prediction.
It might be the
What
same
could
one
be
as
here?
me. It might be the same one as me.
Then go ahead, Tress. Go ahead and say it.
I think we're gonna get Tears of the Kingdom DLC announced.
Yep.
An
Oh
expansion
my
pass.
god, my
Because-
smooth brain did not even think of this. Of course.
Because here's the thing, when you look at like Breath of the Wild, for example, it had its expansion pass announced before the game even released.
Yep.
It was only announced that it would be 2 ways, but we saw it later that E3. We saw Wave 1, it was releasing like a few weeks from then or something like that, and then Wave 2 would be later in the year. The fact that this game, Tears of the Kingdom, released and there wasn't any of that announced beforehand is kind of shocking when you look at the legacy of like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, and Splatoon 3, and so many of Nintendo's recent big games all had their DLC announced before the games were even out. Not this one. And that's kind of surprising, especially off of Breath of the Wild. But I do think now, we're more than a month out from the game being released. People have been playing it. I do think they will announce the existence of an expansion pass, tease what content will be in it, but we won't actually get any of it yet.
Here's a hot take. I don't care. I don't need or want Tears of the Kingdom DLC. That game is just already packed to the brim with content. How much do
Fair.
you need? Like, really? And I feel like they took, like, one of the reasons why they took so long is because, well, for one, the mechanics of that game are ridiculously complex, but it's just like, there's so much content in that game already. Like, really, how much more do you need? And we know it's not going to be post-game content, so really, who cares about that even more? So, yeah, I mean, but you're probably right at the same time. So if it happens, I will be curious as to how good it is. I also just wasn't a huge fan of the DLC for Breath of the Wild either.
That's
so.
fair.
Yeah, I
Listen,
mean, go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say the playable Zelda dream is still alive.
Yeah, there you go.
And
I will accept that. I will accept that DLC.
yeah, I don't know. I just think that there's some stuff in Tears of the Kingdom that heavily implies, like, hey, look at all this stuff that was going on with sweet Zelda over here. Sure would be cool if we got to, do that ourselves. Or it almost feels positioned for that specifically.
I mean,
listen. Now, Tris, I think this is where you might be going. Does it also seem specifically positioned for a sequel to Age of Calamity? Yes,
No,
it does. I don't want that. I don't want that.
No,
But with the heavy focus on, am I allowed to talk about this? Like the memories.
I mean,
Loosely.
maybe not the
Vaguely, yeah,
contents of
just
the.
don't spoil.
Yeah, just don't
Okay,
spoil.
yeah. I just think that there's some stuff in there that seems like combat focused, and I could see working for a Warriors game.
I think while that absolutely could be the case, I'm thinking with Monolith Soft so heavily involved in helping out with this game, you look at how Xenoblade handled its DLC, where it's accessible from the title screen as essentially an entirely different campaign, rather than a DLC that it's not post game, but Link has to go to these areas because there's something new there. You access it from the title screen, and it's you play through segments that maybe weren't some of Zelda's memories, or maybe you play through segments that are in between those and things like that. And I think you could actually do something with that won't interrupt the flow of the main game. And Monolith Soft has that experience, so
I like that prediction. Little episode, little new thing added to that bare menu.
Telltale's Tears of the Kingdom.
and then out in the real world, you can find the chest for the Switch 4K shirt.
yeah, there you go.
And then you can, okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Andre, did you have more to say on all that?
Yeah.
A little bit. I love the idea of like having an actual playable Zelda component, but Nintendo seems to be allergic to this idea for whatever reason. Plus, I think knowing how the story plays out, that might lessen the impact of actually playing as her.
Yeah.
But I do just as an aside, like I wish that's how the memories work. Like
Yes.
they shouldn't be vignettes; they should be playable segments, and that'd be way more interesting than what they end up being. In any case, I think we will. I still think there's a good chance we see DLC here, but maybe not necessarily in the same form that we did before. It may just be an update to the game that they talk about. But I feel like one of the biggest areas they can add to this game, given how popular it's been on social media, is having an actual shareable version of Ultra Hand in the game. Like maybe a post-game update that gives you the ability to share blueprints with other people, or you can access a database of blueprints and actually just build the stuff rather than having to look at a TikTok and try to figure out what goes where. And that would be amazing. I mean, nuts and bolts is something similar way back in the day. I think that'd be really fun for this game.
schemas is what they call them in this game, like schemas when you get a new blueprint.
I think so.
Yeah, it's like there is a system in there for like an item you get that is a blueprint, and then it's added to your list. So I think that would be cool. It kind of makes me, I never played this, so I'm speaking as a big dum-dum, but when we were watching the old Nintendo Direct that showed Wind Waker HD and they had like that message in a bottle system.
The Tingle bottle, yep.
Yeah, it'd be so cool if there was something like that for this and you could like find them out in the world, like something somebody made. Like that'd be so cool.
Oh, what if at this time, what if it were like carrier pigeons and they carry these blueprints around, you can shoot it down and grab one?
Wait a minute, are you just talking about the Tingle bottles from Wind Waker HD?
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't pay attention to anything on this discussion.
All right. Do we have any other off-the-wall predictions, or any predictions, I guess, but anything especially off-the-wall I'm really looking for?
Still related to Tears of the Kingdom. I think, regardless of the DLC factor or not, I think Tears of the Kingdom will be here because I think they'll finally announce the Zelda and Ganondorf amiibo. Or two separate Zelda amiibo and a Ganondorf amiibo. Oh, there are the two paraglider fabrics that are apparently just unused in the game, tied to amiibo. So we know we're getting those two. And Breath of the Wild had so many amiibo, and Tears of the Kingdom has one. So I think they will at least announce a Zelda and a Ganondorf, and then they'll release probably in like November, October, somewhere around there, in time for the holidays.
I know another thing people kind of want to see at this, even though I'm not sure if it could even be a thing, is Pokemon. It's weird that there has not been a Pokemon update for the DLC that's coming out in the fall. I think a lot of people expected it to happen by now, specifically by June. I feel like was when.
Yeah.
Tris, you know what I'm feeling, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was there was an expectation, so it's kind of weird that hasn't come up. But it also seems like
they do their own Pokemon Presents to have that info, so I don't think it would be here. But you're right, because normally they do a Pokemon Presents sometime around June, and it would have happened by now. So that Pokemon DLC is somewhere. Yeah. I imagine we'll get a dedicated Pokemon Presents maybe in July or August for it, but I don't think it'll be here, because I think any time Pokemon is in Nintendo Directs, it's essentially recapping information. They do their own thing, way too often.
Yeah.
I'm still slurping up copium that the Pokemon Game Boy games are gonna show up. You know what I mean? And then it'll have hey, update connectivity to Pokemon Stadium.
That would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's weird that Pokemon Stadium 2 has not hit that NSO N64 thing when we got one.
Same with Mario Party 3.
It'll happen.
It's been well over 6 months.
NSO, man, get it together. It's awful. Yeah.
Oh. Just as a really quick addendum to something earlier, that's why I think Mario Party didn't get DLC, because they decided instead of DLC for Mario Party Superstars, they were just going to bring 1, 2, and 3 to NSO.
Yep, just play the old games, everybody.
Yeah, that's what I think there, but...
Lame.
Yeah. All right, I want to circle it back real quick to something I brought up briefly earlier, but I think there is a good chance, that we actually see Kid Icarus Uprising Remastered.
I wanted to bring that up too, yeah.
Yeah, we first found out about the, Bandai Namco remaking, apparently, a Nintendo property over a year ago at this point, and we had an update of it, I think, earlier this year, at the start of the year. I think this could be an amazing time to show it. We had Sakurai possibly teasing the idea, floating the idea out there, that people will love seeing this game on Switch with new controls, better graphics. Let's see it here.
Yeah, I also, although I do have a little bit of a counterpoint, I also feel like that'd be a great title for the Switch 4K.
That's true.
I don't think it came out at the 3DS's launch. It didn't, but it kind of was meant to be a showcase of what the 3DS could do, with those epic set pieces and whatnot. And I feel like that could easily translate well to Switch 4K. However, if it is here and it's only coming out on Switch, I will be a very happy lad.
Yeah, I mean, it was running on, what's now a decade plus old technology. It will look at, I guess the Switch is actually close to that too at this point. The Switch is way more powerful than 3DS. I think they could get it looking really good on that system, especially with how most of the game takes place in the sky. So there's not much in the way to render in backgrounds, so.
That's for sure. Yeah, it's. I won't be surprised if it's not here, but I will be very happy if it is.
Yeah. Could also be Star Fox. Star Fox Assault. Sorry, go ahead.
Star Fox Assault. That wasn't the GameCube remaster in there. No, I definitely think Kid Icarus, if it is here, would be very, very exciting. But I don't know. I'm kind of with Joey. I feel like that's something that would be later for the next thing as a showcase for it.
Yeah, it depends on because those job listings and stuff, and just I know Sakurai teased something, but Aonuma teased Skyward Sword on Switch like how many years before it was announced? So, yeah, there's the only things that I think count against it. But like I said, I'll be very happy if we see it.
I think these Sakurai games with like the weird control schemes are too obsessed with themselves, and they will not relent. There will be no modern, normal control scheme for these games.
Oh.
I don't think it's Kid Icarus. I think it's more likely Star Fox Assault, as ridiculous as that sounds. And I don't know. I just don't see this game being remastered. I think it's like I almost wonder if like you'd have to get like maybe people like back in the vocal booths or whatever, since it was so heavy on dialogue. I don't know how those recordings went for the 3DS version of the game. Maybe high quality stuff already exists. Kid Icarus as a
I see.
You know what I mean? You would hope so, but I don't. I don't know.
I mean, they're reusing not to totally detract, but apparently they're
please.
using the same PS2 voice dialogue for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. So anything is possible.
Yeah. It'd be cool though. I'd especially like with that online multiplayer mode. I feel like I didn't really get a good chance to like dive in on 3DS, and I think that might be fun to like revisit on Nintendo Switch with better graphics and normal controls. But I don't know. But it's something just occurred to me, by the way, that I think is a lock for this presentation. Can't believe none of us thought of it. Switch Sports DLC.
I want it. I've given up hope on it. Like it's like Mario Party all over again.
Didn't they end content for the game a few months ago? Like they stopped supporting with like the weekly, like with like all the different outfits and everything.
Starting it back up, Tris. New expansion, free to Nintendo Switch Online subscribers. Maybe it's summer themed. Get a little Wii Sports Resort nonsense in there. There were way back when there was stuff that was data mined in that game. Dodgeball, where is it? It's got to be.
Yeah, sorry, Jake. That game is sleep. That game is.
Man, that stinks.
I mean, it did sell well. I mean, there is a possibility that Nintendo saw the sales and was like, all right, let's add more to the game. But maybe it wasn't pre-budgeted. Maybe it wasn't pre-planned fully. So maybe there's a chance it's just started development later than it might have otherwise. But I also kind of feel like Nintendo put it out. They're done with it at this point, and they're moving on. Now that they added golf, which was the last sport that we knew about. But Jake, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see more sports added to the game. I enjoyed it, but I haven't had much reason to go back to it at the same time,
It's one of those things. It's like the Mario soccer game. It's just like I just look at it and I'm like, how could you waste this opportunity? This could have been a thing if you like, watered it every day, watched it grow, but you did not. You did not. You threw it. You ignored it.
In his defense, its soccer game is at least better than the Mario soccer game. So.
Oh my god! Yeah, that soccer game is pretty fun. Random thing. We also did not mention Splatoon 3, the second part of its DLC.
Yeah.
That'll definitely be here. The little whatever it's called.
Side order.
Side order.
Yeah, I had that on my list here, but I also have noted the website still says that's coming up by end of 2024. Is that still just placeholder, or is it really that far off?
No, they Splatoon 3, they got time. They're doing it. It's probably already done.
I can't even fathom the beginning of 2024. My God.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm Foam Stars all the way now. Splatoon is dead. I'm now friends with Foam Stars.
Well, any other thoughts, everyone, or any other predictions rather before we wrap it up?
I have a fun question since Shake brought it up. Star Fox Assault, could that be the mentioned GameCube remaster?
It could be.
I wish.
How would you feel if it was?
It crossed my mind, Tris, when you mentioned that. But I don't know. I don't see many people talk about Star Fox Assault that much. It's kind of weird. And I know the feedback of that game has been pretty positive. I think last time I played it, I was kind of mixed on the ground combat, which felt bizarre, I think. But yeah, I mean, it could be. I just don't know if there's really demand for it. A lot more people are talking about a Kid Icarus remaster than they are Star Fox Assault. So.
Yeah, the thing with Star Fox, I can't see that one because some people really loved it, some people are more mixed on it. I myself are more on the mixed side. But I feel like if you want to keep that IP alive, you can't relaunch it with a game that's already met to kind of mixed reception, Even if it might sell, I just feel like that's just not, it doesn't work to the brand's strength, and you really just need to reinvent it again, or I don't know, do something more with it than a mere remaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is more likely, Star Fox Assault or Xenoblade Chronicles X?
X. I'd say X.
Oh, that hurts. Oh,
I know, right?
Okay.
Wow. I was actually going to say Star. I think Star Fox is more likely, unfortunately.
More
'cause
people.
It's because I want Xenoblade X and I don't see it happening.
Brutal.
I mean, actually, that raises a good point. If something Star Fox were to happen, I think it would be a port of Zero, an updated port of Zero.
Oh,
rather
God.
than Assault.
Nothing makes me sadder than that.
Yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Man, it's just
I
like...
feel like if you give that game a more conventional control scheme, you tweak it to account for that, and I think you actually could have a decent. I mean, I actually like the original game. I'm one of the few that actually did. And a lot of people bounced off of it because of the controls. If you address that key point,
there's so much more wrong with that than just the controls. A lot of people forget that because that game is boring as hell. It's just
my God.
It's so boring. There's like, you compare, Assault looks newer than Star Fox Zero. That says something.
Does it?
And yeah, it really does. There's epic. There's the space battles in Assault were just way more epic. There's a lot more enemies on screen. Zero is just like, oh, pew 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 pew. It's just slow. It's boring. There's like maybe one or two different branching paths, and that was it. It was just. There's a lot more than you might as well just make a new Star Fox game. Like there's no saving Zero in my opinion.
Isn't every Star Fox game kind of a remaster? Yep. Isn't every Star?
That's so true.
Wow.
Oh, God. I stand by Assault, though. I think Assault was ahead of its time. I think it would actually do really well with like some modern gaming contrivances, online, better graphics, more. Joe, you're right about like enemies on screen. It kind of did have a lot going on. I think that game has a lot going for it. I think the moving from like on the ground shooting to jumping in the R-wing, going into the air. This is stuff that like if you could, put all of this on the Switch, I think it would look really cool and impressive. Mm-hmm. I would just like to see that game get a second shot. I think it would do better than people think. Yeah.
I think it needs a sequel though, but I think the on-ground stuff is like broken. Like you'd have to completely reinvent that.
Yeah.
For sure,
because it was not good. Although I did like being a wingman. That was the best part about that game.
You could be all the fun characters. I could be Slippy. Like that was awesome. Yeah.
All right. So now that we've any other predictions real quick, or are we covered? Okay. How are we feeling now about this potential Nintendo Direct, given the things we speculate that may or may not happen?
I'm still too hyped.
I'm still scared. I'm still scared. But I also know for a fact, like, most of the stuff we talked about is not going to be here. I felt like that happened during the last predictions.
Yeah, like Metroid Prime 4.
Shut up. But I do think, like, depending on what is shown here, if it's very little first-party stuff, a lot of just, like Jake said, contractual obligations, that means, like, if this Direct is not that exciting, that means Nintendo's gearing up for that Switch 4K at some point. And... yeah, I definitely think that it depends on what we see.
Is it really so awful? Is it really so awful if the Direct is like Mario Kart DLC, Tears of the Kingdom DLC, some Pikmin 4 gameplay, one surprise, maybe two surprises, and then some third-party stuff? Is that so terrible? I don't think so.
No,
it's the worst
I
thing
really
ever, Jake. How dare you suggest? I'm just kidding. It's video games. It's not that terrible. Like, it's just whatever. Yeah. We're talking about games.
No, exactly. Like, it's kind of funny to me. Like, Jake, everything you mentioned there, to me, that still already sounds more exciting than E3 2018 was. So, I mean...
oh, God. E3 2018. I hope you like Smash Bros. And nothing but Smash Bros. Because that's all we got. That was such a miserable
And I
E3.
liked it.
I liked the Smash stuff, but there was, like, not much else beyond that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know... if we get even just one game that I personally am really hyped for, that's enough for me. That's all I really need. So show me something that we don't know about beyond Pikmin 4, and just make it look good. I just hope it's something that I want that also looks like it plays well, rather than some of the games we've had before, like with the Mario Sports games, where it looks cool but there's not much to it, and that's my biggest concern. So
yeah, that's fair. That's a very valid concern with where we're at right now, because we don't know.
And they're gonna look even better thanks to that Switch 4K. Which, in hindsight, I wish I held that. That was like the first prediction, and now all the comments are gonna be about that. I just feel dumb. I don't know.
Through the power editing, we could move it to the end, Jake, but then it might break everything else about it. I don't know, including this very conversation right now.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up here, everyone. Thank you so much for watching our predictions. Let us know what you think, A, of our predictions, and B, what you were predicting yourself for this Nintendo Direct. We'd love to hear it, and otherwise we'll catch you there live for the Nintendo Direct when it actually airs, as we'll be streaming it ourselves. Everyone, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Have a good one. Bye.